founded. Mataji, I hope you can start, Mataji.
Okay, I can start. In Los Angeles.
So, Hare Krishna, I once again welcome all the... Yes, Mataji, you can go ahead, Mataji.
Oh, okay, you do the introduction, actually, that's correct. You do the introduction and I'll start.
Hare Krishna, I once again welcome all the devotees in the Prabhupada. Today's chapter is, it's 100 and... one moment.
Eight rose bushes.
Yeah, 108 rose bushes, and the paragraph starts with in Los Angeles. So, Mataji, please, Mataji, you can start, Mataji.
In Los Angeles, Govinda Dasi continued as Prabhupada's secretary with Upendra, his servant, giving him massage and cooking for him. Govinda Dasi's husband, Gaur Sundar, had reluctantly left to open a center in Hawaii. It had begun with Prabhupada's talking about Hawaii as a very likely place for a temple. He then prodded Gaur Sundar day after day until finally he agreed to go there and preach. Now Prabhupada was suggesting that Govinda Dasi join her husband. She preferred, however, to remain with Prabhupada as secretary. She had been with him for over a year, but Prabhupada insisted that she should go. From New York, Purushottam Das had returned to come to serve Prabhupada, and Prabhupada had consented. When Prabhupada had written a letter asking Purushottam to come, he had given it to Tamal Krishna, saying, "You'd better mail this. Don't give it to Govinda Dasi." She may refuse to mail it. Govinda Dasi wanted to stray, but Prabhupada ordered her, "You must live with your husband. That will make you happy. You will never be happy staying aloof from one another. You must go there." So after weeks of procrastinating, Govinda Dasi reluctantly left her cherished service and went to join her husband. Already inconvenienced by Gaur Sundar's departure, Prabhupada was now further inconvenienced by the loss of his trained secretary. But he wanted new centers. Rendering personal service as secretary or servant was not a very important function, he said, but to go somewhere in the world and preach Krishna consciousness required a divine spirit, and whoever had this opportunity should take it as the greatest blessing from Krishna. Then Upendra received a prison sentence for a previous drug conviction years ago before he had joined Prabhupada. At first, the sentence was 3 months, but then it was reduced to 1 month in the county jail. When the day to leave came, Upendra packed his bag and went to say goodbye to Prabhupada. "Oh," Prabhupada smiled, "you are going now." "Yes, Prabhupada," Upendra said with a broken voice. Then he asked Prabhupada, "Will you please chant one round with me?" Prabhupada looked at him steadily and said, "You should know I am always chanting with you." Upendra began to cry, and Prabhupada reached over, putting his back and ruffling his hair. "No, don't be afraid," Prabhupada assured him. "It is Krishna's mercy. They will think you are a pious boy and let you go after a few days. Go now. Go on now. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy." Upendra took heart and left for jail. After 10 days, he was released and returned to Prabhupada's personal service. At this time, Prabhupada began speaking to Upendra about preaching in Australia. A devotee in New York had written to Prabhupada about starting a center in Australia, mentioning Upendra's name. At first, Upendra was dead set against it, but Prabhupada smiled gently and said, "Yes, I think you should go." "But I'm doing your cooking," Upendra protested. "Oh, everyone can cook," Prabhupada replied. "You were doing better service in Seattle." "You're not joking then?" Upendra asked. No, Prabhupada wasn't joking. And Upendra left for Australia. Hare Krishna. Someone can continue. And I'll be on mute, Mataji, for the rest of the
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Mataji, what is the next paragraph, Mataji?
Thus, Prabhupada gradually depleted his own personal staff in Los Angeles.
So, Mataji, is it like a matter of body? Is it completed, right, Mataji?
Hare Krishna. I can read it.
Do a control F and when the window comes, type in staff, STAFF.
1 minute. Yes, Mataji, can you repeat?
Do a control F, yeah. In that window, you put STAFF. S as in Sam, T as in toy, A as in apple, F as in fame, F as in fame. Staff.
STAFF. Mataji, can you be a little bit louder? S as in Sam.
T as in toy.
Okay.
A as in apple. S as in fame. F as in fame.
Okay.
Enter.
F for Supriya.
F. Okay. Okay.
No, somebody can type in the chat. Maybe she will understand what we are talking.
Oh God. Mataji, otherwise forget that word. You go to P-R-E, do this. P as in Peter. R as in Robert. E as in education. C as in camel.
Okay.
E as in education. D as in dog. E as in elephant.
Okay.
N as in Nancy.
Okay.
T as in Tom.
Okay. President.
Hit enter.
Okay.
President. Enter.
President. Okay. Thus Prabhupada gradually depleted his own.
Yes.
Right, Mataji?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mataji. Got it. Okay. So Mataji's hope everybody are able to see my projection. Sorry for the delay in projecting. So thank you, Preeti Mataji. Thank you so much. So anybody would like to continue from next? Thus Prabhupada gradually depleted his own personal staff.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I can read.
I can read.
Oh, yeah,
Hare
go ahead,
Krishna.
Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, please go ahead, Kitida Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thus, Prabhupada gradually depleted his own personal staff in Los Angeles, but he continued to use the Los Angeles temple as a stage for introducing new important aspects of Krishna consciousness. One such precedent that had been the downtown chanting party. Another was full-scale deity worship in the temple. It was in Los Angeles at this time that devotees began a full-day schedule of aratis and offerings of prasadam to the deities. Just as in the great Vaishnava temple of India, Jiva Goswami, a great scholar and follower of Lord Chaitanya's teachings, had written that all the chanting Hare Krishna was sufficient in itself for going back to Godhead. Because people in the present age are restless, they should also worship the deity for purification. Since the deity worship involves sewing dresses for the deities, decorating and cleaning the deity's altar, and cooking for the deities, Prabhupada turned to some of his women disciples who seemed practically inclined. One of them was Lilamrta. She was older than most of the other women and had joined the Krishna consciousness movement with her two sons. When Prabhupada saw her eagerness to help him establish the deity worship, he asked her to come in his apartment, where he explained to her the system of worshipping the deity with 6 daily aratis. The first arati, Mangala arati, should be held 1.5 hours before sunrise, but the deities must first be awakened, then offered milk, sweets and fruit, and then at arati consecutively offered burning incense, burning camphor, water in a concha, a clean handkerchief, a fragrant flower, a yaktail whisk, and a peacock feather fan. The devotee offering the articles was the pujari. The pujari would ring a bell in his left hand while offering each object with his right hand, moving the article in clockwise circles before the deities. Breakfast is offered to the deities a few hours after Mangala Arati. Afterward, all the devotees can take the remnants of that offering as the deity's prasadam. Then another arati is performed at noon, after which the devotees take the remnants for lunch. And there are 3 other aratis, at 4 in the afternoon, at 7 p.m. and another at 9 p.m. Then the deities take rest. Understanding that the deity is actually the Lord and the proprietor of the temple, the devotee should serve him just as the king is served in his palace. By doing this, the devotees would naturally increase their Krishna consciousness, but it had to be done with enthusiasm. Prabhupada cautioned that if enthusiasm waned, it could turn into drudgery and become like idol worship. The disciples would be sorry that they had ever begun it. After being instructed by Srila Prabhupada, Shilavati returned to the temple to prepare for the new worship procedure. Next Sunday, when Prabhupada visited the temple, he stood and watched Shilavati offering flowers, offering arati. Afterwards, when Shilavati joined the other devotees in Prabhupada's room adjacent the temple, Prabhupada greeted her by saying, "Now we will have arati." Shilavati looked surprised. "Oh," she said, "but I just had arati." "No, you didn't," Prabhupada said. "It wasn't good," she asked. "No, it wasn't good." Prabhupada then went into the temple and asked the devotees to bring him the various articles for offering arati. Standing before the altar, Prabhupada called out, "I want camphor." "What's camphor?" the devotees asked. "Where do we get camphor?" Someone immediately ran out to buy some. Then Prabhupada asked for flowers. Item by item, the arati paraphernalia came together. As Prabhupada, standing before the altar, directed the devotees to bring him each item, when everything was finally assembled, Prabhupada demonstrated how arati should be done. Then again he turned it over to Shilavati. He had shown them, and now they should continue with enthusiasm. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Kirtana Mataji. Hare Krishna, would anybody like to continue from next paragraph when Prabhupada first introduced?
Mataji, I am continuing for 5 minutes.
Yes, Mataji, Vrindagopika Mataji.
1 minute, Mataji.
Mataji, can you be little louder?
Yes, 1 minute, Mataji.
Okay.
When Prabhupada first introduced festival and spiritual observe for the holidays on the Vaishnav calendar, the devotee in Los Angeles were delighted. They would plan many of the Sunday festival around a particular event. A better charming festival commemorated Krishna's activities as a cowherd boy. The celebration of the Govardhan Puja, observed Krishna's pastime of lifting Govardhan hill, and festival observed the appearance of Lord Rama and Lord Nrsimha, etc. These were not new ideas for Prabhupada, but now for the first time he had a facility and enthusiastically help us to implement them. In February, on the appearance day of the Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, Prabhupada came to the temple and cooked potatoes and cauliflower, sweet rice, halwa and puris. While the devotee crowded in the doorway watching Prabhupada cooked with silent consultations, cleaning the stove and sink after each step. Oh, Radheshyam. One day, Sri Mataji. One day, Srivati discovered a bird on one of the 108 rose bushes. She excitedly called some devotees to see. Soon the other bushes would bloom with the flowers to offer to the deities, and the devotees know Prabhupada would be pleased. Mataji, somebody will read from next paragraph.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much, Vrindagopika Mataji. Mataji, so would anybody like to start from next paragraph onwards?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Latangi Mataji. Please, Mataji.
From which paragraph, Mataji?
Shilavati.
Okay. One day,
Shrilavati discovered a bud on one of the 108 rose bushes. She excitedly called some devotees to see. Soon the other bushes would bloom with flowers to offer to the deity. The devotees knew Prabhupada would be pleased. Shrilavati. Jayananda planted 108 rose bushes, and we were all very anxious for the bushes to bloom. One day I found a little rosebud and I was really excited. It was a yellow rose. I knew from the bud that the bush was going to be yellow and would have a particular fragrance like that flower. I felt that way about our temple. Maybe there were other temples that were bigger and grander, but the essence of Srila Prabhupada's vision was expressed in that temple. Just like with the rose bush, you could tell the color and aroma of all the flowers on the bush. So from that temple, we could derive the essence of this movement, what went on there. The devotees were aware that their activities were successful model beginnings of what Srila Prabhupada would institute throughout America and the rest of the world. Tamal Krishna had organized Back to Godhead magazine distribution so that the devotees, while out chanting in the streets, regularly sold an unprecedented 100 magazines a day. Vishnu Jana was wonderful, singing and playing mridanga all day long. Prabhupada said he could lead Kirtana like a Gandharva. And Vishnu Jana's puppet shows and dramatic skits for the Sunday festivals were something new to ISKCON and well appreciated by the guests. They made the Sunday program not just a feast but a festival. And now Prabhupada had introduced a higher standard of deity worship. The devotees were inspired to serve together in Prabhupada's presence, and they worked long hours together, not with an attitude of pride in their own achievement, but with an esprit de corps. They worked hard, but it was all recreation. They saw their engagements as eternal devotional service, even though performed in the temporary setting of the one-story wooden church in the metropolis of Southern California. But crucial to the success of the Los Angeles temple was Prabhupada's personal presence there. Only because he was there was everything so successful. Although the devotees only saw him once a week, they knew he was at his apartment on Hayward Street and they could soon see him again. Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you for the opportunity. I'll stop here.
Thank you so much, Laltanji Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji, would anybody like to start from next paragraph onwards?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I would like to read. Okay.
Hare Krishna Mataji, yes Mataji.
Prabhupada had been living in Los Angeles 4 months now, and almost since his arrival he had been considering leaving. He regularly received invitations from sincere disciples inspired with the divine spirit, the impetus to spread Krishna consciousness. That spirit had led disciples to different parts of the world as missionaries of Krishna consciousness. And Srila Prabhupada, as the source of that spirit for his disciples, wanted to go be with them to help them and to strengthen whatever they had begun. He couldn't remain in one place very long. He had to keep moving and, like a flying dancing spark, ignite the fire of Krishna consciousness wherever it would touch among asking hearts of us. This spirit, especially manifested in Prabhupada, since his return to America in December 1962, after recuperating in India from the Krishna consciousness really began to after he returned to America.
Your voice is
not able to hear, Radhe.
Your voice was very was reading.
Can you hear now?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
The Krishna consciousness movement only really began, he said, after he had returned to the United States. When he had come for the first time, he had been successful in beginning centers in New York and San Francisco. He had seen that young people would take to Krishna consciousness. But then a heart attack had almost cost his life. He had at that time seemed a retired person returning home to India. But Krishna had somewhat restored his health and allowed him to return to America. So now, with a new aggressiveness and with much more deliberate active planning, he would open as many centers as possible. At La Cienega, Prabhupada had finally received permanent residency status in the United States, recognized by the U.S. Immigration Department as an ordained minister of religion, and he was now free to come and go. So Prabhupada was eager and prepared to travel not only in the United States but abroad. On Gaurasundara's invitation, he had been ready to go to Hawaii as early as December. But Tamal Krishna had pleaded with him to stay in Los Angeles and continue to inspire the Sankirtana party. In January, Prabhupada wrote to the devotees in London, "I have received a letter from a man in Guyana, and he has invited me to go there. There is an invitation to go to Hawaii also. But above all, I am very much anxious to see a London temple established first." I'd like to stop here, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Susagri Mataji. Hare Krishna. So, Mataji, would anybody like to start from Syama Sundara had written that Prabhupada?
Mataji, which section is 108 verses?
Yes, Mataji.
I'm trying to find where is it. I cannot find it.
It is in book. You are searching in book, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Mataji, are you able to see the projection, Mataji?
No, I am on a landline. I cannot see that.
Okay, 1 minute, Mataji.
Kaumudiki Mataji, if you are in a book, it is the last volume, page 197, last line.
Page 97.
197. 197.
197. See,
Yeah,
I have
number
big volume. I have big volume.
Oh, done that.
Big volume 862, Mataji.
862, okay.
Yes.
So where are we reading now?
Volume 2, 862 page.
Yeah, I found 862, but what are we reading?
Yeah, okay, Syama Sundar had written that Prabhupada visit to London.
Oh, okay. Syama Sundar had written that Prabhupada's visit to London would be the biggest event in London since the time of the Roman invasion. Prabhupada replied, "Actually, this will be so. This time, however, there will be invasion, but no invasion. But if England is prepared, they will receive something sublime which they cannot produce in their own country, neither in Manchester, Glasgow, or Edinburgh." But Prabhupada's London preachers had not even managed to establish a center. They had been forced by circumstances to live separately in different parts of the city. They had no place for Prabhupada to stay. So Prabhupada planned to visit other places, but he was most eager to go to London and declared himself fit in health and prepared for any climatic condition in England. From correspondence with Hayagriva, now teaching English at Ohio State University, Prabhupada learned of their newly formed Krishna Yoga Society. Hayagriva wanted to arrange a program for Prabhupada to chant with Allen Ginsberg before a large group of students. Prabhupada told Hayagriva to set a date. He would go anywhere to preach. On February 13, Prabhupada wrote to Krishnadas in Germany, I can immediately go to Germany. What is the temperature there now? The only problem is it should not be too cold for me. I am an old man. During February, Prabhupada also suggested that his French-speaking disciple, Janardhan, go to Paris and start something there among his scholarly associates. In Buffalo, Rupanuga had written Prabhupada of his successful student center. And the 75 students regularly attending his classes in Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada wrote to Rupanuga, regarding your desire to take me there for some time, it is long overdue. And if the climate is suitable, I can go even now if you think it is necessary. Gradually, Prabhupada formed a full spring itinerary. Considering the local climate as presented by you, he wrote to Kisanananda in New Vrindavan, I think I shall postpone it until the end of April. Similarly, he promised Brahmananda and Satsvarupa to visit New York and Boston in the spring. From Hawaii, Govinda Dasi promised the end of the rainy season, the beginning of the mango season, and local interest in consciousness. So by late February, Prabhupada had a scheduled tour of about a dozen places, starting in early March in Hawaii. Early March with Hawaii. Hare Krishna Mataji, I'll stop here.
Thank you so much, Kamodiki Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So, Mataji, if anybody would like to continue from next paragraph, during Prabhupada's 5 months in Los Angeles.
Mataji, I would like to read.
Yes, Mataji.
During Prabhupada's 5 months in Los Angeles, many devotees had joined. All of them had learned firsthand how in Krishna consciousness everything centered around Krishna's pure devotees. The spiritual master, having had their spiritual master with them for so long, they thought of his absence was painful. He had taught them everything except how to continue without him. But Prabhupada assured them that their service to him in separation was even higher service. Just as they wanted him to stay, so he also wanted to stay. But this travel and preaching Krishna consciousness throughout the world was his duty to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. Even at the risk of slacking his writing space and leaving the idols Krishna conscious setting wherein his 108 rose bushes were just begin to bloom. Bhavananda, we all went to the airport to see Prabhupada. Prabhupada was waiting for the plane, and then it was time to leave. He saw with his new servants Purushottama and Kartikeya, and we are all chanting and crying. Prabhupada looked so bright, and he walked down that tunnel. He turned and waved, and then he just turned on to the plane. I was crying. I was thinking, I have been looking for my spiritual master for so long, and now that I have finally found him, he is leaving me. I will never see him again. Then the plane was taxiing down the runway. It took off, and we were all looking out the windows of the terminal building until the last speak. Just like when Krishna left the gopis and went to Mathura, we kept looking until the last peak of the aeroplane was going. I would like to stop here, Mataji. Thank you. This chapter also ended.
Thank you so much, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji. So Mataji, would anybody like to start our next paragraph? It's chapter 62, Preaching in Germany.
Mataji, I will read, Mataji.
Yes, Anjana Gopika Mataji. Please go ahead, Mataji.
Preaching in Germany, August 1969. Prabhupada wanted to go to England. His obligations on the West Coast fulfilled, he was eager to travel and preach on a new continent, but his disciples in England, although creating a significant impression on London, had not yet found a temple. The three couples were living in 3 different apartments around the city. Still, after a year, they had no center. But in Germany, young Sivananda had opened a little storefront temple within a few months for his arrival. Prabhupada decided to go as soon as possible to Sivananda in Germany, and from there go to England when they were ready for him. In July, he wrote Krishnadasa, who had joined Sivananda, "You wanted to fix up a date. So I am telling you that I am prepared now on any day you call me." Our 4 disciples and a few friends were in Hamburg. At first they became a little bewildered, although blissful to hear Prabhupada wanted to come. They were not sure they had enough money. Would they have to pay his ticket all the way from California and his secretary's ticket? All they had was a tiny storefront. Where would Prabhupada stay? Not many people attended their temple programs. So what would Prabhupada do in Hamburg? Prabhupada sensed their confusion when they sent a discount Icelandic Airlines ticket to him to the wrong address in California. He wrote them on August 5. From these letters, it appears that things are not yet settled up, and under the circumstances, there is no use rushing the matter. Settle things up nicely